When you're lying in bed unable to sleep, try scrolling through these wild foods that satisfy and help you sleep. He is the soulmate of the late-night insomniac. Witching this will make you cook noodles. Alright, the small talk ends here. Let's grab our phones with under 60% battery. Prop your right leg over your left. And dive straight into tonight's bedtime story. Ham, who loves eating all by himself just because he didn't pay for his melon seeds. He heads deep into the woods alone to eat his meal. Since Ham saved a decent amount of money for this wilderness trip, he has secured plenty of ingredients. Ham stylishly lights his stove first, then begins prepping the ingredients. Under the blue sky, he works away. Putting fuzzy chicken skin into the pet to fry it up. Adding in some chopped onions. As a man with years of solo dining, he plans to make a sauce before roasting. After throwing various spices into the pet, it instantly looks like something good. He chops the fried skin into the pet to enhance the chicken's natural flavor. With the sauce ready, Ham starts marinating a dozen chicken legs. Sichuan pepper and cumin powder sprinkled in the bowl. With his skillful technique, he coats the spice into the chicken, then adds a thin slice of pork belly to add texture to the roast. He takes the pre-pared chicken and fixes them into wooden skewers with the pork belly garnish. The chicken legs look much better. The charcoal is burning quite well. Ham places the chicken skewers over the stove to roost. Under the high heat, the chicken juices start to flow. The pork also changes color. At this moment, my mouth is already watering. When the skin turns golden brown, he brushes the sauce over them. Both in color and flavor, it has improved significantly. To all of you watching this far, I wonder if you are hungry yet. I am certainly starving now. Ham holds up the roasted chicken, proudly showing off his cooking skills, dipping it into the sauce. Under the blue sky, he eats his solo meal by the warm fire. The second solo eater is called Dajwang. He is a wilderness survival expert. He actually bought 13 bucks of seeds. But Dajwang is a principled man. Pay the money, take the good. Because there are too many mouths at home. 2 steaks aren't enough for everyone. So he sneaks away to the woods to start his solo food journey. He strings a rope between 2 pines and attaches a top over it, building a simple camp tent. Hidden by the tent, he can't eat his steak in peace. Without fear of being found, he must solve the stove problem first. Dajwang uses a saw and a fallen log to get a wooden stump and carries it to his camp. He drills a hole in the center and drills a side hole to meet it. Now he can light the simple stove. He lies down and blows into the hole. Soon the stove is burning brightly. He heats up some oil in taking out his 2 steaks and placing them into the pan. The steak sizzles in the heat. He adds tomatoes for fragrance and puts the bread in. It heats up and soaks up the oil. He heats his ox with the flames, taking the bread on steak and placing them in the ox, assembling a delicious burger. He uses the ox to cut it, then sits by the stove. Bach turned to his protective tent, started eating happily. Don't forget a cup of hot tea after the meal, such a cozy wild feast. It makes me want to eat something right now. Time to fill my empty tummy. Bought some sunflower seeds for a buck. The wind blows, unburdened by money. Ham is feeling a bit guilty, so he stays in the wild, cooking a meal all by himself. Today he brought 2 giant tomahawk steaks. Before cooking, he hangs them from a tree to absorb the essence of nature, making the flavor even more delicious. Then he lights a fire by the river, kicking off this wild solo feast. Ham stands by the wreck. He prepares the fresh ingredients in the cutting board with ease. You don't get knife skills like that without years in a kitchen. It is hard to reach such a level. While prepping, the weather turns nice. It starts to drizzle. In the lush, wild landscape, the man skillfully wields his blade. Heat the pan, add oil, toss the chopped veggies into the pan to sear. Meanwhile, he shreds the rest of the potatoes, stir-frying them all together. Garlic is a must in almost every dish. Ham pours the stir-fry into a bowl. He took your advice, friends. Replacing pork belly with bacon, he lines them neatly around the clay pet, then adds the stir-fried vegetables inside. Finally, he wraps it with the bacon. Once wrapped, it goes into the pet to simmer. Ham doesn't waste a second. Since it is a wild feast, he makes it a hearty one. Starting prep for the second dish. Finally, chip green onions on cilantro. Add Sichuan peppercorns into the bowl. Mix the spices into a paste, and the tomahawk steaks are ready to shine. Ham coats the steaks with oil, rubbing in coarse salt for flavor. Then he places them in the stone slab. With the heat of the stone, the steak sizzles loudly. The Maillard reaction makes the steak look irresistible. Ham brushes the spicy cheese paste in, taking the flavor to the next level. He slices the steak in the bar. The bone goes to the dig. Ham coves up the steak. And the other dish is done. The crispy bacon is sliced in too. Are you hungry yet, everyone? It certainly made me crave it. Ham sits under the blue sky, enjoying his hard-earned meal. Medium rare steak with dip. It really makes you want to satisfy those taste buds. This cool guy is named Diva. He has loved cooking since he was young, mastering some great culinary skills. He heads to the wild for solo meals. He starts by mixing a sauce. Then over the burning charcoal he sets up a rock. He places a natural stone on it. The goal, to let the stone absorb the heat, for his unique cooking style. While the stone heats up, he relaxes and enjoys a drink. The charcoal turns the stone pitch black. Diva takes out a fresh steak, sealing it in the stone. Juices sizzle in the heat. He keeps flipping the steak, releasing a mouth-watering aroma. When every side is seared, the juices are locked inside. They won't run out during cooking. Diva pours a soda over the stone. The flaming aroma of the drink infuses the beef fibers quickly. You have to say, he really knows how to eat, using every trick in the book. The string never complain about their surroundings. Just a stone makes the steak look amazing. Diva places a pit in the stone. He puts the seared steak inside, then puts charcoal in the lid, using top on bottom heat to finish it. At the same time, heat oil in a pan over charcoal. Fry a few pieces of rye. Remove the crispy fried rye bread and set it aside. The steak is now cooked. Slice off a piece of juicy beef. Pair it with rye bread for a wild meal. The dine. Ham is a wanderer who calls nowhere home, used to eating alone. He eats wherever he goes. Ham picks a safe spot to camp in the jungle. First, collects some firewood from the site. He uses an axe to core stakes, driving them firmly into the ground. He lays the sticks neatly across the top, assembling a square wooden table. Next to it, he builds a simple rock, just enough to hang a pit for boiling water. The man skillfully peels the potatoes. He tosses them into the pit nearby, simmering in low heat. Since it is fine dining, you need good side dishes. In the quiet jungle, Ham swings his kitchen knife. He preps green onions, cilantro and garlic. Lemon and herbs are used for the sauce. He puts cheese into a tin mug, then adds a generous amount of honey, melting it over the charcoal fire. Once the honey sauce is melted, he brushes it into the chicken. Ham plans to roast a chicken over the coals. The abundance of honey helps give the chicken a nice golden color to ensure the whole chicken cooks evenly. The experienced man uses a glass bottle to prop the bird open. He places it in the pit to slow roast. He adds cooking wine to remove odors. Ham keeps basting the chicken with the juices from ensuring it is full of flavor while waiting for the chicken. Ham pan fries the soft, boiled potatoes. He adds peppercorns on star and cumin for the golden brown potatoes. Pad with refreshing cherry tomatoes. That is his main meal today. The charred chicken smells delicious. The man places it in a bowl. He enjoys his solitary meal. Today's second wilderness diner is... He has no car, no. He never stresses about a wife. Whenever he has time, he cooks in the wild. His preferred method is cooking over fire. He sets up a rock over the fire and heats stones over the charcoal. While waiting, he fishes by the river. Optimistic people usually have good luck. Soon, he gets a bite. Diva excitedly shows it off. Once the stone is heated by the intense coals, the man brings out a giant tomahawk steak. He is going to grill it in the headstone. Beside the clear water, the man first stands the steak up to thaw. After adding more wood to the fire, he begins preparing the steak. The charred, blackened stone looks a bit dry. Diva cuts the fat off the steak. He uses the grease to lubricate the stone. The smooth stone begins to glisten. The man puts the steak on it. The steak sizzles in the heat. Diva tops the steak with his knife to help it cook evenly. The tomahawk steak changes color in the stone. The dripping fat makes the fire burn brighter. Amidst the roaring flames, the tomahawk steak stands tall in the center. like a lone hero, awaiting a fierce battle with his foe. Soon the sky grows dark. It is time to take the steak off. Diva slices the delicious steak. He begins his cozy wilderness meal. A duck. If you have no time, grill a frozen steak. Diva appears in the jungle again. He is carrying a large crate. A giant red crab blocks his path. So he sets up a stove right there, preparing to make the crab his meal. The early spring ice is starting to melt. Diva crawls carefully into the ice. He drags the crab to the shore. To think that old guy stumbled upon such a huge king crab. If this wasn't staged beforehand, I'll eat all the crab legs. The firewood in the rock is burning brightly. Yumuya Wanania,
211 or Wang Difa.
simply known as Wang Dif, is a fanatic winter camp. Whenever he has time, he drives to the park in the north, braving the heavy snow for a hottie camping trip. Of course, he has his little friend. Wang Difa picks an open space. Staying away from trees is smart. It prevents him from being hit by snow-covered falling branches. The man quickly clears an area amidst the blizzard to set up his tent. The cleared space is just enough to unfold his camping tent. Setting up a tent is easier than building a shelter from scratch. Plus, Wang Difa has an inflatable one. A large tent inflates quickly in the snow. He secures the tent with ropes to keep it from blowing away and to ensure it stays stable. Over there, Diva is happily playing with his ingredients, happy as a child, topping in the crab's shell. Trying to wake it or signal it's time, Diva pulls off the crab leg, setting them aside for later. There's nowhere to sit by the stove, so the man takes a saw to a stump, cutting off a thick wooden slab, dragging it back to the stove, using it as a perfect seat. Once the firewood is turned to embers, and the smoke has died down, Diva puts a big iron pot in top, heating up the oil. Once the butter melts, he adds rosemary for flavor, then tosses the crab legs in, adding noodles to slow cook, and finally a dash of salt. While waiting for the food, Diva sits and mutters to himself. Whatever he's saying is unclear. The snow is coming down hard, covering the tent in white. Fortunately, it is already set up. Wang Difa enters the tent, unfolding a wide sleeping mat, setting up a stove in the corner to warm up the inside. Once the stove is ready, he lights it with dry wood. With the fire roaring, the tent temperature improved. Little Dai is ready to appear. Outside, the blizzard raging. Little Dai naps warmly inside, and Wang Dif is busy arranging the gear deep in the snowy wilderness. The comforts of home are essential. He has everything he needs, just like at home. When everything in the tent is set, he roasts sweet potatoes, sitting in the cozy tent with Little Dai by his side, sharing a delicious meal. Back to Diva's wild meal. The aroma fills the air. He removes the crab legs and serves himself some noodles. He never settles for less. He needs a proper table. Uses a block of river ice as a table, arranging his food neatly. The crab legs look delicious. He cracks them open, revealing tender white meat. Diva sits at his icy table, enjoying his unique wild meal. Happy, peaceful moments slip away all too quickly. Evening has arrived. Wang Difa starts in dinner, searing fresh steak in a pan. High-quality food needs simple cooking. We do not need all that fancy stuff. I cooked some rice after searing the steak. Slice the steak and set aside. Sprinkle green onions over the rice, then remove the seared steak. Crack in a fresh egg. Finally, pour in a bowl of secret sauce. The flavors come together perfectly. Wang Difa sits by the warm fireplace. He begins his hearty meal. Beef rice bowl, served with crisp, refreshing kimchi, a feast fit for royalty. After the meal, he brings the ambient light back inside. He adds enough firewood to burn all night. He crawls into his warm bed and drifts off to sleep. In the deep early, it is still covered in thick snow. Danny, who lives a solitary life because he hasn't had a proper meat meal in a while, he accidentally bit his tongue while eating. So he decided to come to this snow-covered mountainside to make himself a wild feast. Danny chose his campsite under a giant rock. It provides shelter and remains hidden. While he eats here, the man first used an axe to cut written wood for a fire, cooking in the icy wilderness. A prepper bed of coals is essential. He builds a simple stove with stones. Now he can't boil water and cook. Danny lays his ingredients out on the table, making full preparations for cooking. Mixing garlic and cheese together. Stir it well for later. First, introduce today's main character. 2 thick, 3-centimeter tomahawk steaks. Scar the meat to let the flavors soak in. Then give the steak a salt rub massage. Ensure every side is well coated. Don't forget the other side. While waiting for the steak to marinate, the man splits a leg in 2 with his axe. He hammers in 2 spikes and attaches a wooden handle with wire to make it easier to handle while cooking. After setting everything up, he places the lugs in the fire to ignite. Danny plans to charcoal grill the steaks. He places half of the lug in the ground, using stones as a grill bait, then puts the marinated steaks in the rock. He uses the other half of it to cover the steak, allowing the steaks to cook evenly. The wood is now covered in gray ash, turning white. The steaks sizzle in the high heat. The Maillard reaction is in full swing. Proteins and sugars under high heat, making a lovely sound. As the man grills the steak, he toasts bread over the het coals. It seems the guy has a healthy appetite. 2 huge steaks plus bread. After sipping some het tea by the fire, Danny starts preparing the side dishes. Fresh vegetables are sliced into a bowl. The colorful combination looks very appetizing. The steaks over the coals have a caramel hue. The man adds the garlic and cheese mix. Spread it over the steaks to enrich the flavor profile. The burning coals look inviting, but they are actually quite fierce. The moment he opens it again, the steak looks mouth-watering. He places the grilled mushrooms in the bread. The steaks continue to cook at high heat. Soon, a well-done steak is ready. The man slices it open. The lung roasting has made it tender. Juices flow perfectly cooked. It really makes me hungry. Danny leans against the giant rock at the top of the beautiful snowy mountain. He enjoys a cozy beef feast. The Peels are a loving couple. They have a cute daughter. Although they were hesitant about school, their daughter eventually started classes. With some free time, the couple drove to a lake to test their brand new mini boat. Paired with an inflatable platform, they set up a floating campsite. In the sparkling lake, they can fully enjoy the private time together. Secure the second boat in the middle of the lake. Start setting up chairs in the terrace. The boat doesn't look big. It is actually quite small. Small but equipped with everything needed. Every camping facility is available. A couple who camp outdoors year-round quickly set up their lake camp, sitting comfortably in the boat, chatting while watching the blue sky. Grinding coffee by hand. A beautiful day turns into evening. 2 cups of coffee are ready. The couple steps into the float, sipping coffee while watching the sunset. Such pleasant camping in water makes me dizzy. A happy cozy water camping trip ends with laughter while fishing. Haha, net next year, haha. In a small Azerbaijani village, in Charlie's small cottage, covered in thick snow, Charlie wakes up, starts working in the yard. He goes to the coop, clearing snow from the pot. The hens cackle after laying egg, making noise. The couple divides the chores, each busy with their own work. Charlie leads a horse out, preparing fresh fodder for it. In the heavy snow, sounds of village life begin. The courtyard becomes lively. His wife prepares lunch, expertly cutting up the chicken. Setting it aside, Charlie lights the charcoal stove, heating oil in the pan, stir-frying the chicken until fragrant. Adding the vegetables. Tomatoes are also essential. His wife is busy at the stove, kneading dough with egg. Charlie gets the griddle ready, prepared in advance, cutting the prepared dough, rolling it into thin flatbread, baking slowly in the griddle. Charlie goes to the well, clearing the thick snow. Drawing a bucket of water, the rope winds around the winch. This ancient way of drawing water, Vuas have likely never seen this. Charlie pours water into the pet. Meanwhile, his wife stocks the cooked flatbread, cutting it into the steaming pet. Charlie finishes his chores, playing with the dig and snow. Zarahor, a lover of snow camping, to escape the city hustle, drives to the deep mountains to find a good campsite.
Snow camp.
She arrived during a snowstorm. After reaching the park, she picks a level spot and sets up camp, ignoring the potential dangers of the location. With her small frame, she unloads the heavy tent, laying it out in the mat. The snow falls heavier. Zarahor uses stakes to secure every corner. A tent must be firmly fixed to prevent it from blowing over. With a solid foundation, she sets up the tent very quick because she didn't consider the heavy snowfall. Just as the tent was half set up, danger appeared in the trees. Snow on branches hit the tent, deforming the structure. Zarahor is scared of continuing her work in the snow. The river flows nearby. As snow falls even heavier, Zarahor lays down the carpet. Everything moves according to plan, preparing to camp. But heavy snow collapses the tent. She should have picked an open spot and the flat ground without trees. But the little flower's personality is as stubborn as a team of mules. Not to mention the need for timely repairs. He insists in doing things his own way. Finally, through his persistent efforts, he managed to set up the tent again. Diligent people are often quite lucky. While chatting, the snow outside lightens up. Now, he doesn't have to worry that the tent will collapse again. After making up a large bed, he decorated the room with fairy lights. Outside, snowflakes fall from the sky. Inside, he keeps busy with the setup. Under his careful arrangement, the tent feels cozy, unlike a home. Let's shift the camera back to Charlie's couple's yacht. The wife serves the steaming noodles. She tops them with stir-fried chicken. Isn't this just a perfect plate of chicken? When the food hits the table, the couple, who worked all morning, sits down together to enjoy their delicious meal. Dull days can be quite tiresome, but living each day to the fullest and cherishing the present moment is what we all need deep inside, quietly growing within us. By now, has arranged everything properly. The snow outside has stopped. He plays with his deg outdoors. As the sky gradually turns dark, he returns inside the tent. In a corner, he adds heat shielding and installs an impressive fireplace. To improve the room's temperature, the straight chimney pipe exits through a hole. After the fireplace is set, he lights a roaring fire with dry wood. With the warmth of the hearth, the room temperature improves significantly. He heats a naan bread in the stove. While waiting for the food, he rests in the bed for a while. The aroma of toasted naan fills the room. It turns out a bit burnt, but at least it's edible. He slices the appetizing piece of naan. Sitting by the warm fireplace, he begins his mealtime. Judging by his satisfied expression, he clearly nailed the cooking temperature. After the meal, he turns off the lights. He lies in the warm, comfortable bed and drifts off to sleep. Used to eating alone, Deep brings his stove to the beautiful riverside. He picks a wide, flat spot and immediately builds a cooking frame. He lights a fire inside the frame. The tomahawk steak sitting nearby is the main star for today's meal. Diva places a stone in the stove. He uses the charcoal heat to warm it, since heating the stone takes time. He lies by the river to sunbathe, or sits near the stove, doing some light exercise, making the most of this relaxing time. Under the high heat of the coals, the stone turns from gray to black, though it doesn't look like much. As soon as he puts the steak on it, the rendered fat makes the black stone glisten with oil. Amidst the raging fire, the steak juices flow. The beef texture begins to look distinct. The man used to wilderness meals pours a carbonated drink over the sizzling beef. The rising flames sear the meat quickly, licking in the natural juices. After the drink is poured, the steak takes in a rich color. The stone, shocked by the temperature change, cracks, and Diva throws it into the river. He really knows how to clear the scene. The steak is now medium rare. Diva places an iron pot in the stove. He puts the steak in to slow roast it, allowing the beef, under low heat, to become tender and flavorful. As evening approaches, the grilled steak is finally done. Diva sits by the warm stove, holding the massive tomahawk steak, and tucks into his meal with gusto. No way, I have to go get some instant noodles. Witching this really makes me hungry on craving it.